King of the Pond. There was a small pond in a forest, in which many frogs lived happily among themselves. Once it happened that, due to lack of rain, all the trees and plants began to wither. Wild animals from far away quenched their thirst. The water in the pond gradually started to decrease, and many frogs were crushed under the feet of these big animals. However, the frogs were thinking of going to another place to save their lives. But there was no pond far away. One day, a college student arrived in this forest who wanted some frogs for an experiment in the laboratory. Seeing them, all the frogs in the pond hid in fear. An old frog said, "Some of us frogs go to these people and ask them for help. Maybe this is one of us can help." Hearing this, all the other frogs protested that their number was already very low. If they took any more frogs with them, their species would be extinct in the forest. The old frog said, "Listen to me carefully. I will also go along and appeal to someone there to help us save our race. By the way, humans are not as bad as we have made them out to be. Wild animals are more dangerous than humans, which have killed many of our frogs." Among them, 3 or 4 frogs were very sensible. They said, "We are ready to sacrifice our lives for the safety of everyone else." As soon as those people in the forest came to the pond, the old frog went in front of them and said, "What do you want? We are students of a medical college and we need some frogs to do experiments." A student replied, "Okay, but I will go with my colleagues. I have to talk to your college professor." They put all the frogs in a big glass jar and left. The remaining frogs were worried about their companions and prayed for the old frog's success. Took it out of the jar and put it on a plate and went to call the professor. The professor came and asked the old frog, why did he want to meet him? The old frog started shedding tears and informed the professor about the happenings in the forest. The professor was saddened to hear the old frog's words. He said, "Okay, I am ready to help you. I must go and inspect the entire forest first." After saying this, the professor asked one of his students to take care of these frogs and went to the forest with some companions. Happy, the professor came back and told this good news to the old frog, then took all the frogs with him and went to the pond. Going there, the old frog called out the rest of the friends who were left in the pond and said that with the help of the professor, they have found a big and good place to live. All the frogs thanked the professor and joined them in this new place, went to the pond. "Hold on, big brother," said the professor to the old frog. The old frog came out of the water and looked at the professor with questioning eyes. The professor took it in his hand, opened the jar, and released the rest of his companions. When the old frog asked the reason for this kindness, the professor replied, "Since your species was dying out and we don't want you to die like countless animals have died out of the world, that's why we want to protect you. Now we will not come here to catch any frog." After hearing this, the old frog once again thanked the professor and went into the water and said to his colleagues, "I said that humans are not as big as we make them out to be." All the frogs agreed with the old frog and made him their king and lived happily ever after. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.